Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. I'll stand up, I guess. This is the introduction part of the talk, where we're just talking. We then talk about the characteristics of connecting to the internet. Basically, when you are a web user, you have to connect to the internet. And because you're connecting to the internet, that presents some characteristics that you can't escape regardless of what you're doing. So that's stuff that's important to keep in mind, that when you're trying to identify someone, they had to have gone through this at some point, basically. We'll then talk about offensive ways of determining web users' identity, basically looking at the environment variables to see what IP address they're coming from, starting with there and going through other techniques. We'll then look at defensive ways of basically preventing people from being able to identify where you're coming from. In this case, what we mean is basically borrowing the neighbor's Wi-Fi connection, that type of stuff, so you can immediately attribute where you are physically to your location. We'll then talk about forensic database analysis. Basically, that's the case where you get asked, hey, we found this database from a user used to work here 20 years ago, and we need you to do something with this data, or variations of that. There's a lot of information that you can grab from doing that type of analysis. We'll briefly talk about forensic weblog analysis, which is similar in concept to database analysis. We're not going to go into too much depth into the web analysis, other than how to do it broadly, and we'll see how that goes. And then we'll finish up. And I will give the caveat that last time that I taught this course, we went clearly to the last minute. So because I added a couple of new slides, so we'll see how it goes through the course of the day. We'll cross our fingers. So why do we want to bother with this in general? Well, we want to know, like if we're Hanscom Credit Union, we want to know if you're in the US or the UK. If you are in the US, that's probably a good thing. If you're in the UK, that starts raising fraud concerns if you're not supposed to be accessing your account in the UK. That's the basic type of analysis there. There's other times when you want to hide who you are on the internet. So that's the case when like you're posting to Apple forums, hey, this is the latest pic of the new Apple iPhone 6 or something like that, which you got somehow. Then there's the other case of, okay, something has happened to your web server for some reason, and you realize something has happened, and you want to go back and determine who visited who visited your web server, basically. Now, the last part here is everything in this presentation is old, but I do keep it updated as I go through. But just keep in mind that all these techniques are evolving over time, so it's a constant game. But it's all good. And do good, not evil. I'm not a lawyer. Don't go to jail. All that good stuff.